Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Explore Rio Rancho campus board meeting, and it is a little bit late. Sorry for the late start, 5:20. And can I get a motion to call to order?
I move to call the meeting to order tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now if there's any public comment. As
Can we just do the roll call though? Like, make sure they can hear.
okay.
You want me to do it or?
No, we'll do a roll call. Sorry, I was flustered. Since we're all here in the same room for a change, I'm gonna have everybody go around the table and say who they are, and we'll do a call that way. We'll call that way. So
Kathy Garden, board member. Gloria Rich, board member.
Skip Mackey, board
Chris
And
Kinworthy.
secretary.
and the secretary.
Chris Kinworthy, board member and vice chair.
Mike Mizejewski, chair, and then
Jackie Bogue, head admin.
Karen Warner, director of compliance and board liaison.
thank you, everybody. So we do have a quorum, and now we will get into our public comment if there is any. And as Karen had mentioned earlier, if you wanted to make a public comment statement now about anything on the agenda, you can do so by raising your digital hand and typing it in.
That was a comment from earlier, so I don't see anything still going. Nobody is taking advantage.
Okay, so then we will move on to our approval of agenda, and has everybody had a chance to review it? And are there any things that need to be adjusted on there and prior? If so, do we have a motion to?
I did, just a comment, I did put a closed session for facility. I don't know if you want to scratch that now when you're approving the agenda, or do you leave the closed session? Were you gonna go into closed session? Oh,
We
never
should
mind.
Probably talk a smidge about,
Okay,
facility.
okay. So then we'll keep,
So I'm gonna keep it. Never mind. Disregard me.
okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
And meetings from, sorry, minutes from our April 17th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review? And are there any changes before we? I will make a motion to approve, so I didn't notice anything. I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moving on to our finance committee report.
So Josh, I'm gonna promote you to the panel.
I'm gonna shut the light.
And I can make this bigger too. Let's see.
Hi there.
Josh. Hi.
Hi. Oh, it's dark. Oh, it's dark over there. Okay, you're lighting up now. How's everyone?
Good, thanks.
They wanted the
Good.
lights off so they could see your presentation better.
That's
And your
perfect.
face,
You know,
of
it's
course.
it's lighting up now. I guess the camera's correcting itself. All right, so onto that presentation. This is the check register for April. Some of the bigger items to discuss that haven't been there before in the other months. One in particular is Explore Academy Albuquerque. This is a check for some work that the Explore schools were sharing with particular employees. So that's 25,000. There was an MOU that was signed by the schools where they were kind of sharing the load of some employees that were bouncing around from school to school doing some different work there. Other than that, the other bigger ticket items we see typically in the months preceding this, that being NIPSIA, rent, Explore Learning Systems, which is monthly, Herrera coaches, rent, of course, again, and then one other item that we kind of got hit with again. I think we discussed this in an earlier board meeting was some property taxes that were a little higher than we expected this year. That first payment hit here in April. And then one exciting expense that we got some return on investment in is World's Finest Chocolate. So some fundraising efforts that Jackie and her staff are doing by selling chocolate. This is just the expense side of that, around $10,000, but we did make more money than that to cover that expense and have a little bit more money in her fundraising account because of that. Everything else seems to be pretty par for the course when it comes to expenses, but I am free to answer any questions about any vendors, expenses that you all may have.
So the other, the 86,000 and change for County of Sandoval is the
Mhm.
first part of the tax payment?
First part of the tax payment, first part of the tax payment is the 43,000. The second part of the tax payment was the 86,000.
Okay.
So it's paid now? In full?
Yes, we had some cash flow available just to pay it outright, knowing that um the fees associated with paying late kind of rack up pretty easily. So with some cash flow available, we decided to pay that right away without getting any fees.
Okay.
So yes, it's paid.
Yes, it's paid in full. Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, nothing noted, Josh,
Okay.
let's move on.
Okay, bank rec for April. Beginning balance for the schools around 255K, with receipts of roughly $560,000 this past month and disbursements of $661,000. The ending balance was around $154,000 at the end of the month. So the activity was, we spent more than we received. This past month, around $101,000. That was that extra cash flow kind of for the property taxes that we kind of used up there just so we didn't attain any fees. We had outstanding payments at the end of the month around $10,000 and no voids. The expected general ledger and the general ledger are a bit off, around $36,000 because of some journal entries that we had to process to move some money from one fund to another.
Will that
And
be
I
cleaned up
was
so that come audit, it won't be a finding?
exactly. So I'll show you those journal entries just so now that they're presented, the board is aware that these journal entries were processed and they need to be approved, so we don't have an audit finding at the at close that these weren't presented and that we don't have balancing journal entries. So you can see the debit matches the credit for both of these entries and its movements from the 1300 fund, which is transportation fund, into operational, which is 11,000 of 24,640, and the second JE, which is also balanced, is expenses out of fund 24146 into our operating count 11,000 in the amount of $12,176.02. Now, these journal entries were just moved so we don't go over our fund balance allotment according to the grants that we have associated with these two funds, 13,000 and 24146. Any questions about the journal entries or bank reconciliation, check register?
None noted.
Great.
So, we'll take a,
I move to approve.
Financial reports?
motion to approve the journal entries and the records.
And check register.
Check register as presented.
I'll move to approve the check register and the journal entries as presented.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Okay, Josh.
Great. Okay, so we have quite a few bars for you all to look at. Um, Most of these are just kind of cleanup bars that we have budget authority at the end of the year. We'll be seeing more and more of these as we get closer to June, and we're reconciling all accounts by the end of the year. This is one of them where we need to adjust around $789 into our general supplies and materials for operational. So this is what we anticipate the end of the year to end in instructional materials, our general supplies and materials. So we have budget authority. So this is an increase bar for that.
Right, Jackie?
Any questions regarding this bar?
No,
Okay. This is another increase of around $1,825.88 for general supplies and materials in regular education program. This is another just cleanup bar, so we have budget authority.
okay,
And another, this is an adjustment of $37,709.57. Moved into lease payments. Essentially, it's rental land and buildings and operation maintenance plans for the function. So we have budget authority at the end of the year and don't get an audit finding. Another one, it's another increase of $16,849.86 for food services out of the fund Universal Free Lunch, the state allotment that the state gives to the school. It's for food services, so we have budget authority over this function.
okay,
Okay. And an initial budget to cover the money raised and the expenses that we assume we'll end the year with for the account that Jackie has for non-instructional support, the donations that she's raised, the money that she's raised. We need budget authority there, so we anticipated an expense around 7,896 for the year. It's a little high, but we wanted to make sure that we had budget authority by the end of the year for no audit findings.
question, Jackie.
Clarification, that's money raised, not money spent.
Right,
Yes.
right. But they have to equal in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. And the school was finally awarded their Title II funds after 1.5 years. And they were awarded $14,819. We anticipated it to be around $12,000, so it was a nice surprise to get, the extra 2,000. And we want to use the money for salary expenses for teachers associated with the Title II program.
Okay.
I believe that is it.
So, do we have a motion to approve the bars as presented?
I will make a motion to approve the bars as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bars
you.
are approved.
Josh is gonna be hanging out with us for a while today, though.
Yep.
So
Okay.
the next thing is about designating someone to, we do this every year. I assume we did it last year because we did have some funds. We did this at the end of the year. But we asked the board to designate someone to approve any end of year bars that are gonna come up, so we don't have to have a special meeting through the end of June. And then those bars would still be presented to the board in the future. But you need to designate someone if you want to do that, otherwise you need a special meeting when we need bars approved.
Last year I did it. I'm not going anywhere this summer, so happy to do it again if need be.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Great,
Chris is
thank you.
I'll make a motion to elect Chris Chris as our designee.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, that was easy peasy. And then it's calendars. Is that you or Josh?
I think a little bit of both. Josh, calendars, is that?
I mean, I can discuss the financial implications, but as far as what the
Perfect.
school will do operationally, I think that's
You take
best
us
if you discuss that.
financial, I'll do
Yeah,
dates.
because, obviously we had, our meeting, public meeting that Jackie had, a couple of weeks ago, so, but there's some board members here that weren't at that, so this way everybody can be all on the same page as to how it would work.
So do you want me to share the family friendly calendar that we have, and
Yeah.
then you speak to that and then have him address, because
Sure.
they work off of like an Excel funding formula
Yes,
sheet.
yes, yes.
So, or maybe Josh, do you mind to share the calendar since you're already doing some sharing, so I don't have to move this computer around?
Sure, let me pull that up.
Let's start with the elementary or the middle?
Elementary, because that's where we're maximizing a lot too.
Okay, so could you share the elementary if you have the agenda?
Yes, give me one moment. Let me
That'd
just
be great. Thanks so
open
much
that
for
up.
your help.
Mm-hmm.
While he's pulling that up, just to recap as to why we are approaching this is because.
Speak loudly so they.
Okay, is because, after we approved the, calendar at last meeting, some other, indicators came up that as far as budget goes, if we had switched to a 4-day school week, that we can increase our, state funding considerably, almost about $500,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason for, making this possible change, so.
So
That,
one of-
that's
oh, Go ahead.
No, sorry, that's correct, Mike. I just wanted to give some hard numbers to that, just so everyone has just can see exactly or can hear exactly the difference between the two. If we used a 5-day schedule that matched that of last year, we would receive around $5.9 million this year. That's also with the bump in enrollment that the school anticipates to have. If we went to the 4-day schedule, it's maximizing the unit values for instructional time if we go to 175 days of that 4-day a week calendar. And if the school were to do that, the school received an SEG alone of around $6.3 million. That's around a $435,000 swing just by moving to a 4-day, 175-day calendar versus staying a 5-day and around the same amount of instructional days as last year. So that's a big swing between one or the other and maximizing the unit value in instructional days of 175 versus 197 last year.
So the calendar presented in front of you guys shows many colors, which I know is sometimes very confusing. The dark pink is where teachers will be coming back for their in-service. This is the elementary, very similar to the middle school. The 21st would be the first day for staff to return for PD in-service days. Elementary students would start on Tuesday, the 29th. Every Friday, students are off on this model. If there is a holiday on a Monday, for example, the 1st, students would then go to school that Friday. So if you look at September, the 2nd through the 5th, we would be on campus instead of that Monday through Thursday.
So they have to be in school for 4 days.
They have to be in school for 4 days. And then the yellow days will be our term break days for teachers. And I still would like to hold some of our field trips. The one that I really liked is having our students go out to Rio Rancho Public Library to get their library cards, just because we do not have a brick and mortar library on campus. So those are the ones that we really want to make sure we still hold true to in the fall. In November, we did have to adjust the week of November 3rd through the 7th. The fourth, about a year ago in legislation, they did say you have to be off on election day, regardless if it's a general election, city election, and this year it's not a big one, it's just the mayor, but, I mean, that's big too, yes. But for the fourth, we do have to still honor that it is an election day. So we are going to move to that asynchronous day, synchronous learning for the elementary middle school campus. This way we can also honor parent-teacher synchronous. Yeah, it has to be synchronous. And so that's what the red days are. Red days are synchronous learning where students are going to be required to jump online for at least a portion of their day to meet those minutes. But this will also allow our teachers to hold much needed parent-teacher conferences, because that will be very tricky that week with our longer day. And then again, on Thanksgiving break, to hold what we have tried to establish with our community to grant the full week off. Again, we will follow the synchronous days to help our families out. Spring break is the same as our big districts, our neighboring districts. And in this model, the last term, the last day of the term for the quarter is May 9th, that Friday, because Memorial Day is a Monday. You will see that there are 3 additional days at the end, as well as a term break day on the 4th of June. We're going to use and hold those days for recovery, for students and makeup assessments. I'm still running into a big hiccup with families taking off on our mandatory term or our mandatory core assessment days. So we will hold those first, second, third as makeup days for those missed finals, and also for credit recovery for our students that are facing multiple Fs in multiple classes, which unfortunately we are starting to see, and we want to make sure that we're supporting families with that. Same follows for the middle school campus. The only difference with the middle school campus is that they will be starting on the 28th of
There you go.
Yep. And then the 25th is going to be a jumpstart, or not a jumpstart day, a meet the teacher for all students K-5. But teachers in the middle school, well, we're all going to be here one extra day. So that week for teachers, it will be a 5 working week, where that will be a little longer for staff versus traditional. But other than that, it's
25th is,
Of July.
no, yeah, sorry, first day of school, but it's,
meet the teacher, like a meet the teacher jumpstart, just like we've been doing. And we've been trying to do like a quick screener on students. I don't know how we're going to do that in one day. In years previous, we've been doing this in multiple days. So it will be tight and tricky. And then also I know I'm going to be facing, the one thing that staff did, some people are on vacation, and, because this came out a little late in the game. So how do we support teachers with that? Will be a bit tricky since we don't have a ton of days to front load them with those screeners. So
you've got the 25th to meet the teacher for elementary,
both, everybody
for everybody.
Everybody who wants to come meet the teacher.
Which counts as an instructional day in your calendar.
Yeah, well, yeah, because on elementary, it's not.
So in elementary, we have maxed out our days. We're maxed out in elementary,
Yep.
but in middle school, we are not. And so 176 does nothing for me in elementary, but teachers are still going to be for Meet the Teacher on the 25th.
So now, Josh, do you want to move into the financial gain of switching to this type of a calendar?
I think he kind of explained that, but maybe a little bit of why.
Well, as far as, he explained it as, but I didn't know if he wanted to go as far as breaking it down as far as, I saw that he had another slide up there, so that's why I didn't know if he needed to go.
Sure.
something else.
Josh, did you have something else to say about the calendar change and the request for approval of this calendar? I don't hear you if you're there.
Okay, here, yes, so in this particular scenario, I do want to mention something for the minutes that the elementary school would be around 176 days. You only get credit for the max of 175 days, and the mid-high, or mid in this case, would get credit for 172. So it's not quite maxed out, but that extra unit value does help this school out. Um, the other financial implications, I believe I did mention that the difference is around $435,000 from last year's calendar of 5 days a week for 196, 197 days versus the calendar this year of 4 days. So quite a big swing there, just moving to 4 days, 175 for elementary, 172 for mid school.
Did you want to add anything as far as any comment that you've heard from any public from any?
The only
staff?
thing that's come up is the time. So we do have to adjust 30 minutes. So an 8 to 3:30 was proposed. I know a lot of families at the parent night and also just in conversation, the question in regards to what about middle school students who have to get to a sporting activity. 3:30 is hard, and so we did get some public feedback about a 7:45 to 3:15 time. I know I shared, I think, a little bit with staff and at the night, you know, you run into tardies the earlier you start. I was previously a 7:30 to 2:30 school at my previous location. But I think you're gonna have tardies regardless. So to 7:15, or sorry, 7:45 versus 8 o'clock, is that a big change? I think during your fall, spring, and summer time, not so much. The time where we see the biggest increase of attendance will be after the holiday break, January until spring break, when it's darker, colder.
And everybody's sick.
Yeah, those are generally when we see tardies increase quite significantly. But again, I don't know if a 15-minute window would drastically change. The only thing that it will possibly have on the school side is breakfast. Right now, we start serving breakfast at 7:45. This would put us serving breakfast closer to that 7:30 window. So again, looking at staffing to flex. But I know many schools in the big districts have the same problem because then you're almost like bell to bell in regards to duty supervision and coverage. Because of course, you know, you got to have duty supervision for breakfast. And if you have kids on campus at 7:30 to provide breakfast, and if they are outside, and then the busing when kids get dropped off. So those will just be conversations at the school level to see how we provide the duty and coverage. You know,
How does that impact?
Right.
2 to 3 days?
exactly. Yes, so those would be conversations that we would have to have if we are looking at that to man on both ends, because on both ends, right? You're gonna assume it takes 15 minutes to get kids through breakfast. It's also gonna take 15 minutes to get kids out to buses, transportation, parent pickup, you know, all the things that we do.
But
Like,
that staggered start would impact buses on the school.
well, we can't stagger too much because the bus does not want, we can't have kids on the bus too long before the middle school kids. So right now we do that 5 to 7 minute stagger, and it seems to be working. And again, we'll have to look at that 5 to 7 minute stagger for the buses. I would like everybody to start at the same time, is one of the conversation pieces that we've been having. Just for ease, because having an 8 to an 8:05 start right now, if you have a middle school kid with a kinder kid, and you both start at 8:05, your middle school kid's now tardy. So that's kind of where we would like to probably just have everybody arrive on time, and then we'll still do the staggered dismissal. And again, it just helps with clearing out the traffic. As with 500 students next year, we will have traffic. So as a community, we need to be prepared for traffic and for buses and all the fun things that, you know, are always a bit of a challenge at the beginning of a school year. But then again, by, you know, early September, they kind of all get worked out.
How is
So,
traffic?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think you will probably both. gonna
How's
talk about-
traffic working with the tech school opening next door?
I have no idea. The nice thing is the tech school is only taking 10th through 12th grade. So I will, I'm gonna
Most
assume,
of
right?
Kids drive.
Most of those kids will be driving, so I think the one thing we'll really want to make sure is we do have some kids who walk. And they use that little back alleyway to walk down to the street behind us, Vista, not Vista Grande.
Grande Vista.
Grande Vista.
Mhm.
And I would probably caution families, do we want our kids using that little that access road as a walking way if we're having
Teenage driver.
high school teenage drivers using that? We might want to make sure we're finding maybe a different location to meet our kiddos and not have them walk.
Do we know what their schedule?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
I do
So,
not know.
I don't think that they've released that bell schedule with them. High school this year was 7:20 to 1:50 and middle schools were.
So you might not have them at the
8:40
same
to 10.
I
time.
might not. And if they're done at 2, that still gives me an hour and a
That'd
half
be good.
before
Yeah.
we're out. So we might not have, will our neighbors like all of our traffic? Possibly not, but as long as we're following our appropriated easement rules like we have put into place this year, which I know have been kind of frustrating for some families, and changing the buses twice is never what we want to do, but we do have to follow easement rules for our neighboring
Businesses.
businesses.
And all schools have these drop off and pick up issues.
Yes,
They all.
yes.
And I think at this point, the request is approval for the calendar. The bell schedule is really something that you can decide. It's not being approved tonight. Is that correct? I just wanted to clarify, like,
Yeah, I mean, yes.
that's, yeah, because that's sort of an operational piece. What we need board approval on is calendar, as that is connected to budget.
I just have one other question that I know that during the public presentation that came up, as far as I know, it's not safe school that you have on, but as far as a Friday, there was a talk as far as a Friday.
Looking at RGCE and if they would be willing to do the lift of a Friday with making sure that we are
Childcare.
a childcare, the big pieces, will they be able to man it, clean and supervise to where that burden does not fall back onto the school? And then getting them access to opening the building, and what times would that be? Because right now we do not do a before school program. We only do an after school program. So what would that look like? I don't have the finite from RGCE or from the need of what that would look like from the community. But I know that is could be a potential option, yes. And yeah.
Okay, what about PD days?
The PD days will be on the yellow. And I want to make that very clear, for all community members and for the board. We are not trying to go to 205 days. I know that other campuses with the Explorer Academy name is trying to go to 205 to maximize dollars. I am not in the same boat. So for my PD days, we are not looking at a 205. My teachers are looking to go to the 185, 190 contract. So we are, or I think it's 187 if I'm like right on it, is what teachers' contracts would be, is a 187 to 190. So they are not moving to that 195. Rio Rancho is paid for a 193. APS I think is a 195. And I want to say Explorer Academy Albuquerque is closer to a 195. So again, if those campuses are looking at that, that is probably why those teachers might be getting paid a little bit more increase than we are. So to take that into consideration, when you're looking at my salaries and my days, we are comparable to what we are matching on my calendar and to salary bands. So they are not equal across the board. And that has been one thing that I've been really trying to communicate to all parties, because I do get that, like, why are we possibly, and yes, I am trying to move my teachers as humanly close to possible to what our counterparts are making. We still will not be 100% the same. But again, we're making gains to get closer, but it also has to be reminded that we're not working a 195 as teachers on this campus.
Okay.
So I've been very clear with my staff about that,
That's
as
good.
well as, when other people are like, well, why do they have this day off? We have this day off because this is our contract, this is our calendar. you also are making $3,500 more than us.
So, are there any other questions from the board, before we vote on this new calendar proposal?
I don't think I have any questions. I mean, I spent hours and hours and hours dissecting that Excel spreadsheet to see if there was a mistake somewhere and trying to figure out how this is even possible. Was at the parent meeting and have followed comments all week long, your campus and it seems generally that the parents seem in favor overall of the 4-day, 20-day term. That's something else that I don't think was mentioned. Is that it moves from 22 days to 20 days for the terms.
The middle schools. Well, fourth and up,
Yeah, that scares me on different levels.
eighth and up.
Yeah, I mean, it's aggressive, right? I think my thought there, having, you know, a student that's going into 8th grade, is my hope would be that those Fridays would be used to do projects, flavors, catch up on stuff. Not that it's a school day, but right now, you know, kids come home, they go to extracurriculars, they eat dinner, they take a bath, whatever, and then it's bedtime, and trying to cram a flavor project or front loading, just sitting down with parents and reading a book is challenging at best. To get them to bed by, you know, 8:39. So that's my hope, is that, you know, that the teachers and everybody kind of structures it so that those Fridays are kind of, you know, that's your kind of grace day
Yeah.
to get
Just
caught
to
up
do-
and sleep in a little bit and refresh and
But
So-
be productive and take some stress
Be
off the other
productive.
days.
yeah, and I mean, you know,
Doctor appointments and whatnot. Hopefully
yeah,
it's-
that
We
was
hope
something
that would
else.
decrease attendance issues,
Right.
having an extra day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a 4-day week sounds wonderful.
Oh, I do too.
Wouldn't you?
Oh,
Um,
yes, definitely.
One of the other charters here, Rancho, is on a 4-day. They have some extra support, I think, on Fridays that kids can go in. I don't know what that looks like. I know you mentioned stipends at some point, and then we talked about the RGC stuff, but yeah, that's just, you know, some various thoughts on it.
Okay, so, I'll make a motion to approve the 4-day, calendar as presented.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm excited.
Little nerd.
Did we have to distinguish elementary, grade and five?
I would assume it was both calendars.
Alrighty. Do you have anything else for us, Josh? I can't see my.
Let me
Or.
see what's next
It's not going
here. Oh,
anywhere.
salary schedules. Okay, moving on to the next thing we need approval from you all. This is the salary schedule for the upcoming year. The state mandated that all level 1 teachers begin at $55,000. All level 2 teachers begin at $65,000 and all level 3 teachers begin at $75,000. So we began at the level 1 BA level for $55,000 for level 1 and moved up $500 each level afterwards, depending on education. We did the same thing for level 2 and level 3. The years afterwards, after year 0, we used last year's salary schedule and upped it by 4%. The other mandate that came down from the state is all returning employees, all staff members will receive a 4% raise. So in sticking with that, we went up 4% from the previous salary schedule. This, after speaking with Jackie, will give the school a little bit more of a competitive edge in keeping its employees and recruiting recruiting better staff to keep up with the other schools around the area. So this is the teacher salary schedule. And next we have the instructional assistants or educational assistants
This one's wrong.
salary schedule as well.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. It's just the top part. The top part stays the same, so 120 is exactly the same, right? Yes.
Right, right. In this particular scenario, the school already met its minimum qualifications for EAs, and that's 25,000. So the school already meets that minimum. We kept the same minimum as last year, but every level and every year of experience, it went up 4% from the previous salary schedule. So it still keeps in that mandate of 4% raise for all EAs as well.
We just want to make sure this was the latest and greatest and I didn't make any mistakes, so, before they approve it, I just want to make sure this was the correct
Yep,
version.
this is the one attached to the agenda. I will double
Yeah,
check.
I'm just saying, Jackie's not sure, so I'm fairly confident it's the last one I got, but I don't want them to approve something that wasn't the intent, so give me a second.
Mhm.
Show your contract to me.
This is the correct one that Jackie approved today.
Okay, the
I'm looking at the email.
latest one from the
Mhm.
one
From
this
earlier
afternoon.
Yeah,
from
so
earlier
there
this
was
afternoon that
there
you
was
replied
version
that you
1
approved.
from Josh, version 2 from Jackie, and this was version 3.
Right. And this was the approval.
Um, maybe we should give her some time to review that.
I don't know if Josh, if you also want to just touch base, because I'm sure they're not aware that how much our benefits are now increasing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'll touch base on that in the budget presentation, but essentially benefits are going up, in particular health. Health benefits are rising 6% from the year previous, which is a big jump. The the unit value only rose 3.7% from the previous year. So if you take into consideration the 4% raise that all staff members are getting, the raise in levels, the minimum raise in levels of 55, 65, and 75, and the 6% raise in health benefits, the 3.7% raise from the unit value doesn't exactly cover that. So that's another reason why moving to this other calendar where we can maximize the benefits of unit values and maximize the amount of money through 175 days on a 4-day week calendar, why that was beneficial.
And Josh, this one looks good. Thank you. I just wanted to verify. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
So then we're back to salary schedules. And we do need approval.
Yes. So, if there are no other questions, regarding the salary schedules for, teachers and EAs, we will take a motion to approve those.
I'll motion to approve the salary schedules as presented.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So approved.
Cool. Okay, moving on to the budget.
Like, oh well. But that's why we didn't be advocated that work in the same contract.
Yeah, Jake is gonna have this stuff.
Yeah, because I've taken a teacher from Albuquerque. She's like, my starting salary is higher. I was like, just like, work for it there.
That matters.
Yeah.
And your class size is big.
Mhm.
There.
Well, less days and class sizes are smaller, that's important.
Yes, like 7 less a year.
It's $1.
I know.
Okay.
So, moving on, Josh, to the forecast.
So, yeah, this is the budget presentation forecast for remaining years. Some differences between FY25 and FY26. Enrollments from last year to the projected enrollment this year is up by 90 kids, which is a 21% raise. The at-risk multiplier did go down from last year to this year. So a change of 20%. The reason because of that is last year, the at-risk multiplier for the school took into consideration the district that the school is in. This year, PED in the state is looking at every school singularly and determining its at-risk multiplier based on that. The at-risk total from last year to this year, taking into consideration the projected enrollment, is up 24%. What is new this year is English language learners unit value, which the school received around 20,000 this year. So that's brand new. The calendar that was approved is a 4-day week, 175 for elementary, 172 for mid school, and that's changed around 11 and 12%. The unit value went up 3.7%. So it was $6,553.75. This year it's $6,801.35. Overall SCG funding from last year to this year is up 22%, around $1.1 million. Mandatory minimums that we touched on were 55 for level 1, 65 for level 2, and 75 for level 3. It's a 5K difference from the previous year, so up by 10%. The mandatory salary increase last year was 3%, this year is 4%, and health insurance went up 6% from last year, and in FY25 compared to FY24, it went up 6%. So you can see that a lot of these expenses are rising and the unit value isn't exactly keeping up with these rising expenses. Risk insurance jumped pretty significantly for you all by $60,000, taking into consideration the building and all the other risk insurances that you have. And rents is anticipated to go up with a new rent schedule of around $195,000, which is a 20% bump from the previous year.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on the risk insurance?
Yeah, that's significant.
Sure. So risk insurance took into consideration the amount of kids, the building, its worth, things like that. That's why it jumped, as well as as insurance rising in general. That's the reason for the quite significant bump. It's comparatively to other schools around the same size. It's not uncommon for it to be around this. In fact, it was fairly low last year.
And
Looking at the revenue, the school was awarded an SB9 this upcoming year, which it hadn't been awarded in the past. So it's around $203,000 that the school will be able to use on technology, assets over $5,000, projects that the school may have. Big rise in revenue that the school has not seen before in that area. Fees and activities roughly stayed the same, as well as contributions from the end of this anticipated year. State sources, SEG, which is $6.3 million. Other state flow through grants such as lease assistance, transportation distribution, USDA, the EA grants, all rolled into $7.6 million. And of course, the federal funds, USDA, Title I, IDEA, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. These are all preliminary awards that have been approved by the state, other than IDEA. That is up to be determined by the state. We have not heard back from that, so I kept the revenue the same as last year, roughly. We anticipate this to go up just because of the amount of uh of rises of kids that the school has had this past year, but just to be on the conservative side, we left that as is from the previous year. So all in all, in total revenue, we're looking at around $8.2 million for the school.
Okay.
All right, so staffing and benefits. Uh, as far as staffing concerned is around $3.2 million and benefits $1.3 million. Again, the rise in health and premium benefits, we bumped up by 6%. So it's a fairly healthy chunk that is that that is that has risen from the previous years associated with salaries. The plan is to hire effectively and strategically, knowing that the salary benefits could fluctuate throughout the year depending on the any new teachers and what plans that they may have that could affect the benefit line item.
I know, right, so like, I mean, it's, I don't think we can ask, do you need benefits?
You have to though. Do you have other benefits? Oh, good.
Hired.
All right. Any questions about staffing benefits for next year?
And I mean, I know that we decided as a board, like when I first came on to you guys, the FICA conversation, and I know that that was a big piece, and that's a big piece we pay for, but I do recognize the why, and so I know that that was one thing when we first established this back in June of 2023. And I was sitting at my dining room table, this was a conversation that we had, and so I realized some of these expenses are ones we chose to take on, and as a growing school, they will grow, but again, I understand the why.
Social security.
Yeah. Definitely.
Green, 6%.
We did not agree with that part though, right, yes.
We also didn't agree with that the at-risk funding would change and the hold harmless really didn't apply to growing schools, so that's really why you're in the.
Approved by us.
Right, and the hold harmless that was intended to keep schools whole that were impacted by this at-risk change doesn't work for schools that grow. That's what we're finding. Yeah, our schools. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Just sure. Move on to the other expenses. Professional and technical services. We see this pretty big chunk here of 550,000. This is with the anticipation that the school will be paying property taxes. I know that the plan is to get into an LPA, but to be this year, and that would, go away around, at least $150,000 of that. But to err on the side of caution, we wanted to make that into the expenses until we're sure that refinance is going to happen and that an LPA will be in place. So if the LPA does take place, then obviously Jackie will have some more money to hire, and the school will have a better fund balance. Also to that point, if the refinance were to go through, I would assume that the rents would probably lower, or you can probably move the loan payment for property that the loan that the school signed onto in the fall could probably be baked into that. So this line item of 46,000 could potentially go away if that were to be the case as well. But it's baked into this scenario to be conservative, and that purchase property services section is around $1.5 million. Any questions about professional technical services or purchase property services? These are pretty high dollar, this section here as well. So open for any questions.
So the other charges, you said property taxes is in there?
Yes, property taxes are in here, and then as well as other services such as ELM.
How, is there a breakout of that somewhere? Just because I know we haven't approved any of the the pricing or anything like that yet.
Right, right. This is with just the projected value that I received from ELN of what they might be charging. This is with the assumption that you would go through with the price of ELN. But I can give you all a breakdown of what was rolled into that account code last year and my anticipated projection for this upcoming year. If you like, I don't have that with me now, but that's the thought process behind the 550.
Yeah, I'd like to see it broken out.
Okay.
Big line item for other.
From my understanding, when Josh was explaining it to me, it was like, so the 98 is Axiom, if I'm understanding this correct, right? Like that was, so every line was a charge. And so
Yeah, but other charges he just said includes things like,
taxes.
Right.
um,
Taxes,
You put two, you know.
professional
your
services.
Your other spreadsheet is way bigger, your two whatever for, the ELS, or whatever, and you had it broken down into like a handful of different things, and he lumped it all
Right.
together. And
Right.
he took
That
Yeah, and he took the
yeah.
taxes, and you increased the taxes, I think, what, to 180?
Right. Assuming, I mean, because the big increase from last year to to the year prior to this year, we saw that significant raise in property value. Um, I assume that that property value would rise as well. So to err on the side of caution, we move that up. I'll flip my other workbook where it has that breakdown.
well, is he, are you saying you're gonna provide that now, Josh, or?
You said he can have everything.
Oh,
Yes.
So my understanding is if we approve the budget, but we still need to go through all of our different contracts and stuff like that separately. Those, whatever the final numbers are, is what'll actually be in the budget, correct?
Correct. This is with the assumption that um those contracts would be approved.
Yeah.
So
budgets
yes,
can be amended often.
Yeah, so what I'm
right.
hearing, is you were fairly liberal in your expenses column.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So we don't need to necessarily worry about some of the surprise expenses and stuff like that we've had.
Right. The surprise expenses that have occurred the past couple of years is kind of a little bit of a catch-all there for other charges, but those other charges are based off of some of the big dollar items that the school currently has, but inflated for the upcoming year.
Yep.
And I just want to comment that assuming that all goes well with a lease purchase agreement in the near future, Josh alluded to it, but, that loan payment and that rental payment would change, like that, the rental payment should go down as part of your lease purchase agreement, and the loan would certainly be rolled into that, so you'd be paying it to the time, but, it would help for immediate cash flow, and then as the school grows, of course, that rent payment would go up, but that's just part of the negotiation of a lease purchase, so. That won't be.
Right.
Months, if assuming it goes, but.
We're saying.
Right.
We are staying with Herrera for transportation to my understanding.
Okay. And that's really because of capacity. There are no other, like, they might be able to provide some support now, but they don't have other buses for the future. They're kind of a minute.
So it stayed small.
Start a bus company. We need some more.
Yes. Okay,
But that's all in here, right? The transportation stuff somewhere.
Transportation, yes, it is. Matching that with the revenue that was allotted. Yeah. So other charges include Mineral Tree, which is the payroll system, Starfall, another contracted service, Lakeshore Equipment, which is some of the equipment over $5,000 more.
I think you're on a different slide, perhaps, John.
No.
Oh, no,
Oh, it's just rolled up. I see. Never mind.
Yeah, it's just rolled in there. I'm just giving everyone an idea of what vendors were associated with the thought process there. ELN, which is anticipated to be around 375, 400, depending on obviously, of course, the services that you all ask of ELN, and then property taxes with a raise in property taxes due to um, the value of the land rising from one year to the other.
That'll go away too if you have lease purchase.
So no other questions at this point on this?
Where's the rest?
On, oh, there we go, sorry, there you go, on professional technical service or purchase property services.
Do you have more to share?
There's another.
Unless y'all have questions on any of the other items.
Is there another slide after this, I guess is one question.
Yeah, yes, there are. Some more expensive purchase services, transportation contractors is built in here. Other contracted services, that is food services. So food services associated with the USDA grant. So that wipes out, essentially it matches the revenue from the state and the federal USDA grants. That's the 300,000 here. Software, library, extra food, and general supplies and supply assets. This is just essentially a 3% bump from what the school's actuals were last year. And then lastly, vehicles, general and property fixed assets of more than 5,000. These are associated with the SB9 revenue that the school received, as well as a kitchen infrastructure fund that the school was awarded, that we have yet to spend on, but with the hopefully the lease purchase agreements, the construction could start there, as well as the purchasing of vehicles that are associated with that grant and property assets that are associated with that grant.
Okay,
Okay. So this is what we anticipate the 5-year model to look like for the school. Bond covenant for next year is $234,000. I anticipated another building due to the growth of the school and the plans of this school. So I added this 20% off of $1 million building for years 2 through 5, which again moves up the bond covenants, but that's just merely projection at this point. Ending fund balance for next year is 266,000, which would cover the bond covenant and have a little bit of breathing room for the school, just in case any unexpected expenses occurred. Again, this could definitely change depending on the refinancing of the building and any other deals that could occur during the year. But as you can see, steady growth from year to year, and having a great fund balance by year 5 to use on any projects that the school may have in mind, or any type of expansion efforts. Okay. All right, so what we need now is just approval of the operational budget based on a 520 student enrollments, conservative expenses other than the ones that we kind of talked about of the projections of other charges, but there are additional projects that are associated with this budget using the SB9 funds that the school was awarded next year. Looking at the minutes from last meeting, you all approved the title funds, the federal grants, which Lisa presented, so I will not need those to be approved. But I will need approval on the operational budget, and as soon as the board votes on that, I'll be sending out a 901B10 via box sign that I'll need you all to sign so I can submit that to the state, and we will be compliance and ready to move forward with FY26 budget.
My only question, all the spreadsheets that were flying back and forth here a couple weeks ago had 510 on the enrollment.
Jackie,
We upped.
Yes.
520?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You give me a little wiggle room. When Josh met with me and he gave me the daunting news of benefits,
Need more kids to pay those. Yep, got it.
and so, fourth grade, right now, fifth grade is at 36 kids. So if we're gonna put everybody else at 20, I made some of those grades jump up a smidge to match closer to that 18, 20 band versus some grades were just sitting at 17. So it did allow us to wiggle a little bit. Still staying small, but
Increase the dollars for again.
because we can't increase, because we cut kinder. We're only taking the 42 kinders, which that was a decrease.
Any other questions, or do we have a motion to approve the 26 budget as presented?
I will make a motion to approve the 25-26 budget as presented.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
I,
Let's hope for all $8.7 million.
Okay, thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then
So, yeah.
they have to finally use their reserves to pay.
Ooh, Josh, I'm gonna send you back in cyberspace. I just need to get control here of this thing. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay, moving on. Treasurer's administration report.
5 days left. It's been crazy. A lot of attentions have just been spent on budget, calendar, schedule. What will the day look like? How are we going to still maintain the integrity of clubs, pep rally, all of those things. So a lot of back end work on those types of conversations. Hiring, we're fully staffed with teachers. I'm going cautiously optimistic with the EAs, just because of the conversation from Josh with benefits and the rent. And so we will be staffed. We will be ready with staff. But again, I'm going to play a little cautious for the summer. Because we do need to do the refi to pull a little bit funds and keep those the fund balance and the bonds up to make sure that we do have the reserves. So there is that piece. And then looking at I think the one thing that we'll have to wait until September to see how that works. We'll be looking at after school stipends and clubs. So if we don't hit that in the first semester, I'm hoping by maybe like mid-trimester or second semester January, because my big focus is getting electives grown, getting after school programs, so that we can recruit and retain our current 8th graders as we're looking to feed 9th grade. So those are big focuses for myself. And then yeah, math data, I'll probably get that all ready for you guys in June. Just I knew this agenda was packed. Math data is looking phenomenal. Reading is still a concern. We are doing that reading program here from the state. So I am your site coordinator on top of all the other things I do. So we do have 8 teachers who will be working with the program, about 88 students, who are all but 4 Explore Academy students are enrolled, and we'll be starting that June 2nd through the 27th. It is structured literacy based. I myself have already done 42 hours of training. Every teacher or instructor that does it does 42 hours of training with this program. The program and the materials are free to the school, which is also really nice just to have more resources when it comes to teaching. What's it called? Newhouse. And so it is a pilot from the governor. There's 3 different programs: Central New Mexico, so us, the Rio Rancho, Las Lunas kind of APS district. We're doing the Newhouse program. Very foundations based with like the letters background, which all of the teachers are going through. So I'm hopeful that this program will also help some of our students continue to grow, not see that traditional summer slide, and some possibly boost up their reading. So with that, I am hopeful. It will be June 2nd through June 27th, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. We all decided that this was a great idea before we looked
Got
at,
to the end of the year.
got to the end of the year and with a 4-day calendar coming back to school.
Correct.
So if I see you guys in October, I'm a walking zombie, that is why. But, so yeah, it'll be good, it'll be good. Good, exciting, and hopefully help out.
How do we incentivize families and parents to read over the summer? Something like that.
Speak louder, I'm not sure if the audience can hear you, but
I just asked, how do we incentivize parents and families to read in the evenings, read over the summer? Try to do a little catch up from.
But a lot of like restaurants and what.
The Dion's has, and we were gonna, I have flyers that I need to go collect from Dion's to pass out the last day of school, where they do those, like the reading and you take it into Dion's, and I know there's those.
I mean, is it something that just ends up getting forged, or is it something that,
In some cases, I don't.
varies. Depends on the family.
yeah. I'm just like, I would toss in, you know. The prize, a giveaway, something, you know. Even something that you report throughout the summer, just to like, so it's not just a piece of paper you get from Dion's and it goes into the, right? You know, if it was a form or something that each week, you know, parents could fill it out or kiddos could fill it out and just.
I think you're asking that question of former.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I'm just,
we have no control over.
yeah,
It's really hard in today's world when everybody's on the computer and on the phone. And I mean, personally, I want them reading books. I don't want them reading on their phones and on the computer, but it's just a significant family value there's a real void these days.
I mean, that's why I asked, is there some way to?
Getting more books
incentivize
in
it?
hands and real books, right?
Real
And so the nice thing is I did get a decent amount of money from PTO. We are purchasing a lot of in-class books, literature. That's kind of also why I said, you know, getting kids to have a library card. Like the Rio Rancho Library is actually a very nice facility, the one on Level, Colorado.
It's gorgeous.
And I don't know how many of our kids are utilizing, and now they have the mobile book. And
they've got
Check out ones today from.
it would be neat if it could come from the PTO. If other parents were, you know,
Encouraging other
yeah,
parents.
some kind of incentive coming from the PTO, coming from other parents, this is really significant, we need to promote and encourage and model.
Yeah,
And I don't know if Rio Rancho Libraries do this, they used to go to the schools every May and have their big summer program that, you know.
And so we do it in October is when I've been hitting it, just because again, we don't have that library. And they will come into the school and we can also send to them. And this year we didn't do it with the littles. We tried to focus more on our 5th, 6th population just because of research and getting, our kids have graphic novels, which graphic novels are fun. But is that a, you know, true literature book? And I think Kathy, you hit it, like reading a real book and not online text. You know, I'm guilty of reading my Kindle every night. I don't do a real book, but it's still reading, right?
But children.
I know we need to get them to read, and 20 minutes of reading, and what does that look like? My kinder teachers, so this year, I don't think I shared it, I might have shared it with you guys. We did do a data binder across campus, K-5. Part of the kinder's data binder is reading log and a reading binder, where they do fill it out. There's tasks in there every night as part of their front-loading homework.
But that's just kindergarten, the other grades.
That was really where we're trying to hit, like that early. And it's not completed probably beyond 70%.
My husband and I go to the library a lot. And we meet a lot of families, all homeschool families.
Yeah. Yeah.
They pack the library programs, because of
Yeah,
course they
yeah.
don't have the
Good
resources
resources
they
for
have
them
here.
too, yeah.
But those kids are leaving with stacks of books in their lawns.
Stapleton, was it Stapleton, had the free resource, book giveaway in February. On that Sunday, my teachers were able to go and they packed, they got a lot,
The union did that.
so it's really trying to grow the resources to get books in hands. And, you know, we did trying to make sure we're hitting that, like, drop everything at the old school strategies, right?
Yeah, we used to do
and-
that every day
And
after
just
lunch.
read,
every day after
just
lunch.
read. Read alouds and bringing back that, you know, just the love of reading. And Chris, I don't, I know I read with my kiddos. I know if we want to, you know, look even further, one of the reasons vocabulary is so low across our younger generation is because they don't have authentic reading. They're not reading. And we know that's the correlation. You know, if you look at any like benchmark, a traditional child at age 5 should have, you know, over 200,000 words in their vocabulary arsenal. We have now, as a country, lowered that to 160.
Yeah.
Since COVID. Why? We all kind of,
You don't get vocabulary, short form video.
so, you know, we're lowering our standards to meet the demographic and the output. I think,
So just keeping the
Yeah.
conversation going, we
Yeah.
just need to keep promoting it and keeping it going. That's
yes,
really
and it is
the only thing we
it's a
have
goal.
control over.
It truly is. And that is, you know, and we do have families who ask, are you guys gonna get a library? That's a lot, that would be so cool, right? To have a media, a resource, a digital media, you know, any type of media room, because even in my previous school site and so Sierra Vista, my librarian, she's been cut. Those positions are now on the chopping block across our big districts because they need to put it in the classroom and not in, so now you're gonna have this gorgeous library facility with nobody to man it. I do have a book room. That is one thing that I spent all summer last year, truckloads between myself, friends, teachers, just going to a lot of our schools that we have good friends with and commandeering resources that they were getting rid of. I mean, I'd gladly show you guys after tonight if you would like to walk over. So we do have resources on campus that we've slowly been building. But I don't have a quick, easy answer. Yes, we can look at incentivizing it for sure. Like I said, we spent about $8,000 with PTO's help to get every teacher, every grade got $1,000 to go full send on titles that they wanted for in classroom support. And also just fun titles, right? Like, forget if it connects to your flavor, but like, let's get some fun titles in there that our kids want to read.
They take some of those books home.
We have not done that yet, just because of limited resources, and again, making sure we keep them. I know some teachers do the book bags. We also did the Starfall for our younger kids. Raz Kit is another great, but it's online. But you also have the ability to print, which is another great one. So it is a need, trust me, it's a need.
So I was looking at a resource that maybe other schools were looking at. All I got was the K-12 reading list, and again, suggestion to encourage parents to have.
Read.
Yeah. I was hoping that more in them to pass on.
We need the parents to put down their phones
Yeah.
and read to the kids. You go to restaurants and the families are just all on their phones. It makes me so sad.
We need to get Dolly Parton to have like a
Yeah.
second home here.
Do the
next
kids
to
all
them.
have her accounts? Dolly Parton, yeah, have your teachers
Yeah.
make sure all the children are signed up for the Dolly Parton free books. They'll each receive one book a month mailed to their home.
Oh, does she do it out of state now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's what I was
Oh,
referencing.
no, it's national. I'm always
Oh,
promoting that
that's
program.
amazing.
Yeah, all my friends.
We
get it for
talked
their-
about it.
All my friends get it for
Yeah.
their grandkids.
Thought it was only for,
Oh, no, it's national.
oh,
You
it's
have
like
to
a-
parent the teachers. That would be a great thing for
It
the
has to be
summer.
driven by the teacher, right? Or no?
I think you can just get online and sign up your own kid.
Okay.
I
And
had it in the newsletter. I'll look
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, look into it because then they get a book a month.
nice.
Oh, she's incredible.
Anything else?
No, but like I said, staffing, certified teachers, we are staffed, we are ready. I'm bringing over another special ed teacher, which I'm super excited for. Yeah, certified teachers, we're good to go. And EAs are in the works, but again, like I said, I'm treading a little cautiously optimistic. But better feeling for year 3. It's just gonna be a tight fit for all of the kiddos.
Karen?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go quickly through this section because this meeting is taking long and we still have some things to decide on. So I just reminders, right? Evaluations need to be done by the end of June, so we need to get a head administrative form and some self-assessment for the governing board. Those of you who were here last year have done something similar, but I'm gonna get that out to you. I'm gonna talk to Mike a little bit after this meeting and then I'll send something out. Another link on that agenda is the director of charter schools division is no longer, has left her position. And so school leaders got an email. I don't think it went to board members, but you are all school leaders. So wanted to make sure you're aware that Karina Chavez is no longer the director of the charter schools division. And Bridget Dr. Russell, who was her deputy director, is interim. It is an appointed position, so it will be filled by a governor appointee. What's next on there? The conference, is June 10th and 11th, if you can go to any of those sessions.
I signed up.
Last time I checked, I put the link on the agenda again for you, so you can always go back to our website and get to agendas if you want to look up things we've talked about in the past. But the charter school conference, last I checked, didn't have their detailed schedule up yet. So keep checking to see what sessions are being offered. Next is your training requirements, board members. Little hand slap here, except for I'm going to give kudos to Miss Garden again, who has completed all of hers. Okay, I wasn't gonna go that far, but she's the first one to finish everything. But please,
What's pitiful is that I went to the charter school conference last summer and I was supposed to use all those hours as to credit towards it. I didn't know how to. So I took them all.
but you only need 5 and you have more. So,
I just mean to be.
Gloria has
Cheapers,
to turn with the Canvas platform, so she hasn't contacted you. I'll call Missy.
Missy's nice. It's easy to do.
June 30th technically, but please don't wait till June 29th. June 15th. This is really, I mean, I know it's 5 hours, but if you don't do them, you will have does not meet standard on your report to the school.
Less if you watch it on 1.25 speed. Just say.
And I don't know that they all take the full amount of time, but that's okay.
I next a lot of them because I know the answer.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not saying they're all great, but there's some good stuff. So get your training done. It's a state requirement.
Okay.
And I will help you, Gloria. Obviously, they're gonna have to extend your time if they don't get that fixed. The contracts I just listed here in case you wanted to discuss, but I think we kind of talked a little bit about it in the budget and we can have a more robust conversation next month. But basically what I can think of right now that you need contracts or may want contracts for, I guess, is what was formerly called ELS is now Ally Op or Ally Op, Operations Ally, and the financial services and the legal services. But I left it that you could take action, but I got word that we're not going to do that tonight, right? Okay. So moving on, I can share this form and I'll try to explain while I also try to pull it up. Your school is obviously not reorganizing, it's not new, and it's not closing. However, wait, that's not it, that's the wrong. I'm like, I don't have it on here. Wrong agenda. Give me a second. But there's a form that the PED is requiring. I take some exception to it because I don't think it's the appropriate way to notify the PED, but then again, I'm going to do what they tell us we have to do. So this form is designed for establishing, reorganizing, or closing schools. You're not doing any of those. You have a charter contract to serve K-12, and we just keep adding a grade level. However, This is the form that I've been advised we need to use to notify them that you're adding grade 8 next year. So I've just filled it in with Jackie's name, the school address, Mike as the board chair. No, you're not establishing a new school. No, you're not reorganizing. No, you're not closing. This part right here is the little summary of what we're doing. We are specifically grade 8 will be added. The rest of this I'm saying not applicable because we are not establishing or closing or whatever. And then same here, same here. Down here, there's questions about, oh, there's no reorganization as we are authorized for these grades, but we're adding grade 8 in next year. These are all tribal related questions. We don't have a large population. We're not located on tribal land. I guess there is probably some tribal land in our district, or is that out of the district? I answered no. I don't know if there, I don't think it's in Rio Rancho, right? We're not really that district, but you know. They want to vote of when this was approved, and so they'll regularly discuss with the board. No formal vote is required to include grade 8. However, the board did discuss this PED required form at this meeting and approved it, is what I want to be able to say. And then it is May 15th, right?
14th.
Where do I have oh, sorry. And the community input is not required because that was done when you applied. So I just would ask, the rest is optional. I didn't fill it in. It goes to PED. And I think the real intent of this form is that then it circulates around all the PED bureaus so they know what we're serving and what's going on. So I understand why, but take some exception. This is never how it has been done in the past. The director would just notify the bureaus. I know because I used to do it. But anyway, so I need approval to submit this form to the PED as per recommended by the charter school.
Motion to officially add grade 8 to the.
We seconded. Gloria seconds it.
I know, after this week, guys, just kidding.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I have one more thing, and it's an amendment request form. Whenever a school adds additional square footage, you are required to notify the chartering authority, the Public Education Commission. And there's two things that basically I need your approval on so that I can sign and submit it tomorrow. So it'll be on the June agenda so that it can take effect this school year, if that's what you're planning. So this is their amendment. It's basically because that's included in your charter contract, your facility information. So you have to let them know when you're going to add. So I filled it all out, adding additional square footage. Your current square footage is at or around this, I guess. An additional 35,000 square feet is available in adjacent buildings. The rest of this is we're going to provide an assurance because we don't have e-occupancy or approvals, you know, PSFA letters. And then this is due to increase in student enrollment and the additional grade levels being served, more space is needed. And I'm going to need to sign and submit it. With that comes the facility assurances that you as board members need to approve. I think I've already taken the liberty of, I have not. Okay. I'll put in the date, and this just says that the board assures that we won't occupy any space that's not allowed under the NMSA 22-8B 4.2. Don't worry, we won't. And then we won't occupy the building till we have an e-occupancy and PSFA approval. So since we don't have those yet, I need the assurances with the amendment request form in order to notify them of additional square footage to our building as required by your chartering authority.
It's within 30 days, we need it between 30 days and occupying it, or within 30 days of after occupying it?
So you cannot occupy it until you have it, but you have to, within 30 days of occupying, get the e-occupancy certificate to the PEC.
Got it.
You can't occupy till you have it, and within 30 days after you have it, you gotta-
Possesses and provides with it. Got it. Okay.
I'll make motion to approve the amendment request form and the facility assurances paperwork.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then with that, I am done, and we could go into closed session, assuming that everyone that's here would be in closed session. I could just pause and mute and you could conduct your closed session while the audience waits.
That's fine. You said it's gonna be brief, right?
Yeah, do we need?
Oh, thank you.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session to discuss facility.
Can we get,
Is that,
possibly, I don't know,
Sorry.
All in favor?
let me,
just text.
are you?
And we are officially in closed session, so we will stop recording. Meeting, all in favor? Aye. During our closed session, we discussed facilities and no further action is needed at this time. And now moving on to board comments, any board members have any comments to this?
So I may not be here for next month, but between now. There were a couple of agreements that were on the agenda originally that we would have tabled anyway and didn't have enough information, so. If we can get all of those in advance to look over, I know I probably would like to set up a meeting with Alicia at some point to go over a la carte pricing, RFP stuff through ACES, and yeah.
Yeah, and I had, in that same email, Fred mentioned that I'll be gone right before the meeting as well, so I think, looking at your schedule, we need to
I'm here.
kind of do that, prior to.
Yeah,
Are you both missing the meeting yourself?
No, I'll be here for the meeting, but I get back like the night before.
Okay,
I will probably be out.
I just thought if you're both missing, we should probably think about maybe rescheduling it. So, I'm hearing, materials in advance, no problem, I'm sure. And meeting with Alicia would be with you and Mike, I would presume, or is that what?
Yeah.
You can't have a quorum of your
Yeah.
board unless you do it publicly.
Mhm.
No, I'm not counting you. I'm just saying that I'm not eliminating them. I'm just saying that if you want to have another person, we have to do a special session, special.
I mean, can we fill them in on kind of what that looks like?
Absolutely.
Okay, so.
It's like a little subcommittee. I
Huh?
mean, you guys could do it and then
But
fill them.
can we right now, just to give them a high level, and then if they have questions or things that they'd like to submit or. share?
This was
Just
not on the agenda for
Okay,
discussion, so. I guess you're not deciding anything. So
Yeah, we're not deciding.
You sure
So
can.
just-
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, just from,
I
so
may not know.
there had to be an RFP process this year. ELS slash alley. Alley sounds like.
LIO.
Alright. They went through ACES to have like a pre-done procurement contract or something like that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so you probably are more familiar with CES, Cooperative Education Services, where
Right.
you can do procurements through. ACES is similar, but they kind of focus on charter schools. So they're a procurement, they provide services too, but they're a procurement vehicle where they do RFPs and then you can use their agreements. It's kind of like using a GSA agreement, a state agreement. Like you don't have to do your own RFP because they've already done it and you can use that agreement. That's the advantage to either CES or ACES. I think you've used CES and maybe even ACES. I think you used ACES for Axiom's contract this year. I think you've used CES maybe for some construction things.
Yeah.
It's just a way for small districts, particularly in charter schools, not having to do the whole RFP process. Yes, so ACES
Yeah.
put out a RFP and now have a contract for Alliop to provide services on the Explore model as well as additional menu of services.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the work I do is not tied to the model, right? I could do board meetings and compliance policies with any school.
So the this current year, we just had a all encompassing contract. It covered all of it, right?
That
The
is correct.
Model plus all the services and everything.
It
Okay.
did.
And then, so for next year, it'll be the model plus the a la carte menu, and there's a discount discounting in there depending on like how many or something like that, or is that what it looked like?
It's like a percentage, like if you bundle, like bundle and save, right? So the more you get, there's a discount.
Yeah.
I
I looked at the set.
formula playing with it, what you can save, what we, yeah.
Yeah.
So the core package keeps us with, the spreadsheets that we are accustomed to, special ed support, curriculum instruction support.
Your website,
Yeah.
your email addresses, all the data systems, whatever surveys they run for you, progress reports, report cards. Any of those systems that are run, which is primarily based in Google Sheets, like you
Right.
said, spreadsheets mostly, but all those. All the teacher development around the model,
Flavor.
the flavor,
So
more the model focused stuff.
and that's gonna be the core from my understanding, and then there's all the other additional pieces. That we can add, right, that we could add, look at, see what it looks, and I believe there's also duties, what each part has. In regards to the duties and how they support the school.
Right,
And
'cause
I would
payroll,
caution you
all
to
that
go-
Other stuff is,
yeah.
is.
I would recuse myself if you were gonna have a deliberation, but you really can't have a deliberation.
No.
Because it wasn't on the agenda, but I know you're just giving an overview. I just
Yeah, I
wanna
just- I
clarify,
just-
like, I would leave if, cause I'm involved, but
Yeah.
in one of the services, potentially.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I just wanted to clarify for the record.
Yeah, no, I don't think they were on that email, so it's
Yeah.
just that's coming down the pipe, and then it sounds like we're gonna have a decision to make about whether we use Axiom or not, and some of that kind of stuff, right? So,
Just, yes, I mean, you have that option every year with
Yeah.
any of your contractors, so, finances, legal services, those are things that are always a one-year contract and you can choose to renew or not. And you may wanna consider other options for any one of it, I mean, and, you know, for anybody that's not, decide if you wanna use the model services or not. And then any of these other services, you can take or leave, based on your needs and wants and budget and whatever.
That's it, questions or anything like that? Yeah, I mean,
Prior to
So-
next meeting.
Facilitate us.
So my follow-up is to facilitate a meeting with Alicia with the three of you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other board comments? There's nobody in public, so there's no public comment. And in that case, I'll make a motion for adjournment. Our next meeting is June 19th. At 7 p.m. All in favor?
Um,
Thank you, everybody.